Good morning, everyone. How is y'all? Good. Live.
We are
All right.
live.
And we're live on YouTube. We have restrooms down the corridor here. 6134 is the number. You are welcome to chat amongst yourselves during the show, just not too loud. Lars is front of the house today. Anything needed, he's the man.
The fabulous Lars Leduc.
The human Lars Leduc.
He's got another event in the other room.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're two-timing us. Really? Looks like Annie's on the stove back there. You're in for a treat for breakfast this morning. She was a little late to work. Danae is here.
No, I was covering her.
Bridget was covering Annie because Annie was a little late to work.
No, Annie just needs some sleep.
How old's your kid now? 8, 10? 5. Yeah, you do need some sleep. How late were you today?
She wasn't late.
Nico is on the technical side today. If anything screws up, it's his fault.
Yep.
And Becky's on the producer chair. I've got my turmeric tea.
Ooh, nice.
Nice. That is
Do you ever
good
do it with
stuff.
coconut milk?
I don't.
I love turmeric
plain.
and coconut milk and
Isn't that
ginger.
called golden
Oh, you mean
milk?
like
yeah,
chai?
it is.
Yeah.
It
Like a
is.
chai
And
program?
I have a little jar of it now that I just scoop it.
All right, shall we?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, welcome to the Hot Stove Society Show here on Cairo Radio. My name is Tom Douglas,
And I'm Bridget Charters.
and we are going to come at you for 2 full hours today. Becky's in the producer chair, Nico's over on tech, and Sean is in the studios at Cairo. We are here at the beautiful Hotel Andra in downtown Seattle, 4th and Virginia. It's in what we call TDville, because I got a bunch of joints all in the same neighborhood right here.
The walking
And
distance.
I didn't start that, by the way.
You
was,
didn't?
No, somebody else called it that, and it kind of stuck a little bit.
Oh.
Why not? We're in the studios here at the Hot Stove, which is our cooking school. We've been open over 10 years now. Come join us sometime for breakfast during the live recording, like all these nice folks did. They don't know yet if it's worth it because we haven't served breakfast yet.
But
we
wait
do-
till you see those muffins.
We do know that the coffee's hot.
And the
Is that-
water for the tea
The
is
water
hot.
for tea is actually hot. You can also join us on YouTube. Just go and make sure you hit subscribe. Doesn't cost you a nickel, but it makes us happy. Makes us feel good about ourselves. How many subscribers do we have? Are we over 10?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Millions.
Good.
Millions.
Upcoming classes here at the Hot Stove. You know, we do lots of business corporate gigs, but we also do lots of public classes where you just sign up. It's a couple hours of your day, and it's $100, I think. And you can come and see Chef Rashida Rosalie, who's just back from Singapore. She's doing a class called Thank You Very Mochi. Oh, what a play
Yeah.
on words that is. Woo. Saturday, March 29th. Bridget right here is doing a tapas tour of Barcelona.
Yeah, I just was there in December.
And
You had recommendations, and a few other folks did, and it was...
I heard Calpep was closed when you were there.
Yeah. They took a vacation.
Oh,
They're famous.
Darn.
So I went to Mini Pepita and Pepita.
uh-huh.
Super cool.
Did you find my favorite paella
Paella
place
place.
in Old Barceloneta
They were closed.
with beef and
We
beef
were
and
there
octopus
right
and-
after Christmas, the day.
It was the best. Beef, octopus, and kind of tomato-y paste.
Interesting.
Yum.
It was just slick with beef fat. Oh, my God, it was good. And also, you can check out all of our classes at hotstovesociety.com. Serious Biscuit, have you been there yet? We've reopened Serious Biscuit at
No.
both our Totem Lake location at Serious Pie, right? Serious
Yeah.
Biscuit, Serious Pie, and at Ballard. They're open on Saturday and Sunday mornings. And
okay.
super fun.
Yeah.
You can go out to Totem Lake at the town, what's it called? The town?
Kirkland
Town Center.
No, it's not Kirkland. It's Totem Lake Village.
Total. I should know
Totem
that.
Lake Village. Yeah, you live out there.
I know.
Yeah.
I love going there because there's a Nordstrom's rack there and some good restaurants.
There are some good restaurants,
restaurants,
there, and
yeah.
you can go have a biscuit brunch and then go to, you never go shopping on an empty stomach because you buy too much, right? So go have a biscuit breakfast,
Right.
which will knock your socks off, and then go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's that are right there.
Yeah.
Park once, shop 25 times. Seattle Restaurant Week is coming up here in the city, March 30th to April 12th. Our restaurants, and there's a million restaurants participating, but ours are Lola, Neb, Half Shell Palace, and Serious Pie. So you can check out the menus.
Fun.
SeriousRestaurantWeek.org. The places that really book up, like Palace really books up, and Lola, because they're a little higher end restaurant, and Restaurant Week is a good time to save a little cash and go out and enjoy some places maybe you don't want to spend the money at all the time. On today's show, Dutch Baby pancakes. I tried to put these on the menu at the Half Shell Brunch, and I got voted down because they take
Too much work.
long.
Yeah.
No, they're easy.
Easy to make, but
They
that's what I
take
meant.
20 minutes in the
Yeah.
oven, so you have to cook them to order, or they're not good. Bridget, you're going to talk about cooking with induction.
I am.
And why are we talking about this?
Well, because so many new buildings are putting induction in, and
Rather than gas?
Folks are kind of freaking out about it, but it's actually quite cool. I've had to talk a few friends down on the whole induction program.
Well, the city was going gasless, and then I think they got sued.
Well, and it got voted down.
Oh,
Because
okay.
there was a vote thing, and it was
that's
against
right.
the
last
builders.
election. That's
and
right. There was something on
yeah.
it. We're going to dive into fish tacos.
Mm-hmm.
Belinda Kelly and Venice Cunningham are here about their new book, Drink Your Garden,
I love that.
Recipe, Stories, and Tips from a Simple Goodness Cocktail Farm.
Beautiful.
I knew there
So
was going to be
fun.
like a little take on the farm to table, but
love
it's
this.
cocktail, farm to cocktail. I like it. And what I really like about the book, too, is they delve into non-alcoholic
Yes.
cocktails, which is so easy to do. So
Right,
easy.
so easy.
Yeah. It's just that I like mine without. Father, daughter, doer, Jim and Jennifer Maurer join us to share shepherd's pie. Did you hear us on the radio talking about shepherd's pie? And I had not really made one
What?
in a million years.
Oh. Did your mom make it as kind of
No.
a regular thing?
But I do have that as my taste of the week coming up here. We're going to talk tamales, and of course, we're going to wrap up the show with food for thought, tasty trivia, brought to you by Rub with Love Spice Rubs. My taste of the week: Loretta, who was supposed to be in that chair today, has strep throat.
Oh,
Oh no.
man, she's getting
She's a bad-
hammered with the
Well,
colds.
here's
3
the
little
funny
babies.
thing: no, little babies don't get it.
Oh, good.
It's like you don't get it till you're over 3 years old. Apparently, is what
okay.
Really?
the info she
Interesting.
has. So she got it somewhere else,
Okay.
and
Her immune system's getting
her
hammered.
mother was on the way to the farm, our farm, Prosser Farm, and got the call when she got to Issaquah and made the big U-turn and went to make her dinner because she had 3 babies and she was literally
Feeling terrible.
lying on the floor.
Aw.
So,
in tears.
yeah.
Well-
So, point being, Jackie thought, well, I'm going to make something homemade. So she bought stuff to make a meatloaf. When was the last time you made a meatloaf? I haven't made a meatloaf in 25
Oh
years.
wow. I love meatloaf. It's easy to make.
Meatballs.
It's,
Meatballs are meatloaf. Aren't
Meatballs I make,
Yes, you
but
do.
meatloaf I haven't made in 25 years. And
They? It was delicious, I bet.
it did come out delicious, except the last time I made meatloaf, I just used breadcrumbs and eggs like you do meatballs, but it comes out pretty
Dense?
firm and
Okay.
dense. She put in a bunch of the
Eggs.
Japanese milk bread.
Oh.
Just that
Oh.
classic white
Yeah.
spongy bread mixed with some milk. Mushed it,
Lighter
Cook it up.
Hercules mushed it all up. He had a good time
Oh,
rolling
you
up his
helped.
sleeves, and then so it really lightened it up. And I was not surprised, but I was pleasantly surprised that I liked it.
Did she put eggs in?
Yeah,
Nice.
And the milk bread has eggs too.
right.
yeah. This
Right.
is a no Becky meatloaf.
I'm so sad.
But it's easy to do, Becky.
But here's the thing: it wasn't just the meatloaf that was good. She made a little ketchup glaze for the top, but we had mashed potatoes,
So good.
green beans, and mushrooms.
That's
Now
classic.
that is a meal my mother would have made 100,000 times in her lifetime, for all of us kids, and I never make it. And it was like walking back in history for me. It really
Good
was.
job,
It was
Jackie.
just like
Yeah.
the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Were you thinking meatloaf sandwich the next day, or
Well,
did you
that
guys
was always
dust
my
it all?
favorite. That was
Yeah.
always, my mother had the 7 lunch bags lined up on the counter with the our name on each lunch bag every morning.
Sweet.
And my favorite day was the day after meatloaf dinner because it was a meatloaf sandwich with butter and Heinz chili sauce.
Butter and Heinz chili sauce on white bread?
Why people eat ketchup instead of Heinz chili sauce, I don't get. Heinz chili sauce is essentially pickled, little pickled peppers and vinegar and ketchup.
That's so funny. My
So
mom.
that's my rant for the day. Why are you eating ketchup when you can eat Heinz chili sauce?
So everybody go out and get a bottle of Heinz chili sauce.
Well, I use it in my corned beef hash. I used it last night on meatloaf. It's just better.
I've never had it.
You've never had it?
No.
I mean, I had it in the
We need
hotels.
a new producer.
Oh, Becky, don't let him do that. No, I mean, we used it in the hotels to add to mayonnaise and stuff like that. Big cans.
Uh-huh.
So it's an
know.
enhancer.
Garmager.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was to Dr. sauces. You added horseradish to it, blah, blah, blah.
Well, you add horseradish to it for cocktail sauce, right?
Yeah.
It makes perfect cocktail sauce
Yeah.
when you add horseradish to it.
I'm getting some.
Get a jar, see what you think.
Okay.
Here's the thing. It's a pain in the butt to get out of the jar because it's just a little jar, and it's just a little bit inside, and it's a big, thick jar. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Becky, we're going to get him one of those sets of mini spatulas.
The thing is, I don't use it very much, so it's like it sits in the fridge for.
Right.
The other day, I looked at my ketchup in the fridge. I had to throw it away.
Yeah.
It was 2020 was the expiration date, so it was made.
I thought you kept your fridge
But
pretty
it
clean.
doesn't go bad,
I
does it?
do.
It was just hiding.
Bridget, it was made 8 years ago. If it's expired in 2020, it was made 3 years before that.
The flavor's probably not as fresh.
It's probably fine, but no, it didn't stay in the fridge. We've made so much fun of my mother for those things.
And then you don't
And
want to
then-
be that.
Yeah, we
No,
don't want to be
Don't
that.
want to be that guy.
I mean, I'd love to be like my mother. She was a sweet lady, but. Okay, what's your taste of the week?
My taste of the week is similar to yours in that at the grocery store, because we're coming into spring, they're dropping the price on lamb. And there was some lamb stew meat at Town and Country Market, great price. And so I did the same thing. I did just a quick braise. And I had some baby carrots from the farmer's market. And I chucked those, seared the meat. And then onions, celery, baby carrots. Big couple of glugs of red
Sounds
wine.
like you were celebrating St. Patrick's Day with a little Irish stew.
Yeah, it was an Irish stew. Same thing. I made mashed potatoes, but I didn't have enough potatoes, so I put a sweet potato in there.
Uh-huh.
It was delicious. And I did the same thing. Green beans, all on the plate. My husband, flipped out. He was like, oh, my God, this is so good. What did you do?
It's funny to go back in time a little bit sometimes, and it just clicks off. It's like a light switch. It kind of clicks off a memory that all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Do you have any of those, Becky?
I do. Kind of spaghetti and meatballs. My mom used to make big pots of
Uh-huh.
it was more of a meat sauce, but when I think of spaghetti and meatballs or
That's
a
awesome.
bolognese, I think of her. Yeah.
Bolognese, I know.
Yeah.
Spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah.
With
My
that.
mom just did ground beef and her tomato sauce.
Yeah, and you had the Lori seasoning salt, the Italian seasoning
we didn't
No,
have
we
that.
did not have the Lowry
My mom
seasonings.
would
My mom-
add the packets to the ground beef, and that was the spaghetti.
We had ours with canned black cut olives. I don't do that.
Well, we can remember and embellish.
Right.
Exactly.
All right. Up next, we're going to talk a little bit about Dutch baby pancakes.
Gotta love
I bet
that.
you know a lot about
That's a
Dutch
that's a
baby
memory
pancakes.
thing.
All right. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Carrie Bachman is on YouTube right now, watching.
Hello,
Who?
Carrie.
Oh, Carrie is. Hi, Carrie. Wow.
I think she's in Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken.
Do we have any new
But
cookbook
maybe she'll chat with
authors
us.
traveling, Carrie? We want Dory.
What? Carrie Bachman was the original publicist for a couple of my books way back when she worked for William Morrow.
Uh-huh.
And she went off on her own and is now a multi-billionaire because
Is that true,
my
Carrie?
book sold so many copies.
And you'll be interviewing Sarah, one of her clients, after the show.
That's awesome.
Uma. All right, Bridget, we're back here in the kitchen at the Hot Stove Society in downtown Seattle. And we're going to make some Dutch baby pancakes. Get us started. And I'll just say one thing. Every recipe I've read about this, room temperature ingredients.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Can I start with the why we're calling them Dutch babies versus a German pancake, a Bismarck, a Dutch puff, a hooligan, or a hootenanny?
Those are
Well, because
all.
those sound stupid.
That's one answer.
Who wants to have a hootenanny?
Well,
Okay, go ahead.
According to Sunset Magazine, Dutch babies were introduced in the first half of the 1900s at the Monka's Cafe, a family-run restaurant in Seattle, Washington, owned by Victor Monka. While these pancakes are derived from a German pancake dish, the name Dutch baby is said to have been coined by one of Victor Monka's daughters, with Dutch possibly being misinterpreted of the German word Deutsch. Monka's Cafe claimed the trademark for Dutch babies in 1942.
You know,
Wow.
Monka's Catering is still out there.
It's still out there in
and
Bellevue now,
yeah.
still run by the same family.
Andrea, in Bellevue? No, I think.
Yeah, they moved to Bellevue.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
We got to get
Anyway,
them on the
it's
show.
delicious, good
Okay.
little catering. And Andrea used to work for us, and she is a sweetheart.
Okay. Well, there we go.
That's awesome.
Did you know that?
No, Becky. Thank God.
I love to research.
Thank God we have Becky.
Now we know why it's Dutch pancake. Okay, back to you.
Back to me. So I had a peanuts cookbook. I gotta bring it in for you,
Charles
Tom.
Schultz peanuts.
Yeah, that was my first cookbook. I think I was about 8 or so.
That explains so much to me right now.
It was kind of a Snoopy nut.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You suppose Terry Rotaro had a peanuts cookbook?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't
either.
think so. And so, Americana. Anyway, that was, I think, one of the first things I did. And my mom had this cast iron pan, which I now have.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'd pop that in the oven. And the deal was she had this funny Oster blender,
Uh-huh.
and the ratio was for every cup of flour, cup of milk, 4 eggs, pinch of salt, pinch of sugar. Boom. Let her rip. And you'd
Only a
put it
pinch of sugar, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you just let her rip in the blender,
Uh-huh.
and then let it just rest a little bit. And while the pan's heating, then you drop your
What fat's in the pan?
always butter,
Just butter.
A lot.
a lot
A
of
lot of
butter.
butter.
Like we used to just do a whole stick of butter, and then my mom tried to pass margarine off on us,
Oh,
and we were
brutal.
like, "No way, mom."
Have you? Did you show her the peanuts cookbook? Said butter, not
Exactly.
oleo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so then you put a big old half stick of butter in
Okay.
there, and as soon as it melts, you just carefully pull the pan out so you don't disturb the butter, and pour the mixture in the middle of the pan.
Uh-huh.
And that pan's got to be smoking hot. It's got to be 425 degrees.
Well, your butter must brown immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just boom, you see it start to creep up the sides of the pan. And the nice thing about a cast iron pan is it's got a little bit of texture to it. So it, boom, up it goes.
So it's like a Yorkshire pudding.
Exactly.
Identical or a popover.
Popover, yeah.
Yeah, same thing.
Okay, let's go back to then. You almost always see in Seattle area apple Dutch babies.
Sautéed
right?
apples, yeah.
Cinnamon, sugar, apples. You pour the batter on. So you've got your cast iron pan. You pour the batter on top of the apples. That's what I always did, but so then it becomes an apple Dutch baby.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that impedes. So I would always saute the apples separately. And then when the Dutch baby was done, boop, put those
You
over
put
the
the
top
apples on
right
top.
when you pull it
Yeah.
out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You know when you talk about dishes that you own, this is the only, my husband loves food, doesn't like to cook. He owns this. He's been doing this since he was
What's
17.
his process?
Same exact thing, the same ratio of the 4 eggs to 1 cup of flour to 1 cup of butter, or 1 cup of
Yeah.
milk. And he does the same thing. He did it for us for Christmas this year. And then he cuts apples on the side, usually a Granny Smith, and just gets up with brown sugar
Just cook
and butter.
down, so
cooks
good.
down.
Yeah.
And then this year he did a little brandy, warm brandy, as you taught us, and flambéed it. That was
Right.
for a little thrill.
Oh, fancy.
The
For a
warm
little-
brandy flambe is a lot better than cold brandy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it really does.
Because it just does its business.
Well, yeah, you're evaporating the alcohol, so it catches on fire immediately.
We're a little afraid, so we had it under a big hood, and I had a
Oh my
lid.
goodness.
What?
Oh,
he hasn't done it in a while.
Becky.
Yeah,
But
and he doesn't have any hair to burn off.
That's true. But he's got eyelashes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was beautiful.
Now, I have read that bread flour makes a better Dutch baby because it rises more firmly. It's got more
Interesting.
gluten in it.
That would make
you tried
sense,
that?
right? No. We always just use all-purpose flour.
Uh-huh.
We did the Karen Springs flour.
Nice.
Karen?
The Edison all-purpose, yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. But then it's just, so good. And so we would blend up a whole vat of the mixture because there were 5 kids in the family. And we would just slide the pancake out and chuck the pan back in the oven, more butter, and just keep going until
But then wouldn't they all fall flat by the time you got done them all, or did you each take a wedge as they came out?
we just, we would take half and take big spoonfuls of raspberry jam and smear. It was like a vehicle for
So it's
maple
like a crepe.
syrup.
I mean, essentially
Yes.
it's a thicker crepe.
Right.
And you can go savory as well. I've had it with smoked salmon and dill and a little bit of
Which is
creme
delicious.
fraiche.
Yeah. Really nice. And you can use like buckwheat flour is delicious with a little AP.
You probably don't get the same rise out of that, I wouldn't think.
No,
Yeah.
but if you put a little AP in, up it goes. It's great.
So maybe you probably do or don't know this, but you've been a teacher for a long time. The science behind room temperature batter over cold batter. I mean, literally every recipe says you have to use room temperature or it doesn't rise.
Yep.
What's that all about?
Well, it's
I don't know
the
the science.
it's the volume of the egg. So when the eggs are cold, those proteins are very firm and very
Tight,
stable.
yeah.
They're tight. And then as they sit, the egg loosens up, everything's warm. So
Kind of
when
like
you
me. As I said, I just kind of...
But as you whip those eggs, everything fluffs, and then the bubbles, as you're whipping that, the bubbles of the eggs are larger. And then by blending it, you're coating those big air bubbles with the flour mixture. The milk's helping that liquefy better, so it's hydrating the flour. And then salt, that pinch of salt helps to denature the eggs, so they puff even more. And the sugars for the browning.
And if you're a weenie butt and you are saying to yourself, I don't want that much butter, just eat something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because essentially you're ruining the dish.
It's amazing
It's
because
kind of like trying to make low-fat
Chocolate cake.
chocolate cake. Well, or I was thinking of the Chinese crab foo young or something.
Oh.
It's like, I don't want to use that much fat. You have to.
like fried
Yeah.
rice.
Yeah,
like,
go eat Vietnamese if you don't want to eat that kind of fat. Because, that's a fresher cuisine.
Right.
Chinese
They use a lot of fat.
crab foo young, you have to get the edges up, just like on latkes, right? You have to have enough fat to get the edges crisp.
Correct.
Same with the Dutch baby. You have to use it to get that flavor and crispness.
Well, and the crispiness of the butter, the beauty of it is that those crispy bits of butter end up cooking into the center of the pancake. And
Like
oh
a
my
croissant or
God.
something.
Yeah, it's just this browned butter. Oh, man.
So if you would have won your deal at Half Shell, how would you have done the Dutch baby? What would you put on it?
I would have done anything.
Sweet, savory?
I'm more of a savory guy when it comes to that. I can have a couple of bites of the sweet, and then I'm done. I don't care. But if you were to put, say, a chive Dutch baby together, so that batter with chives in it, and then put your lox or hard smoked salmon on top, and then put a little drizzle of creme fraiche or sour cream, and you have to finish with a
Lemon.
pepper grind.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you could do a little shavings of lemon peel, but pepper,
little caviar.
caviar would be delicious. Although I don't like wasting caviar in those kind of situations.
Bunch of fluffy
I want my
stuff.
caviar straight.
Yeah, you want to
Yeah, just like
enjoy
my
it.
whiskey.
By large
I want my
spoonfuls.
caviar like
Don't
my
water it
whiskey.
down.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so a big pile of smoked fish and that creamy, custardy Dutch baby. Yeah.
Yum. So if you did a smaller cast iron pan like an individual, would that
they-
work? Did you guys try?
We didn't try because it just was more of a time thing in the oven. It wasn't about the size of the pan. It was more every order was going to take 20 minutes in the oven. And that
People don't wanna wait that long. Yeah.
That ties up a kitchen.
And you have Bellini. Which
The only
is,
place that I ever saw do it well, and they warned you right on the menu, was same as Ramos, was the original Pancake House. Remember them?
Yes.
I think they're in Portland
yeah.
still. There was
They
one in
talked about
Ballard
that.
for years. And that, to me, is the only place that I ever went that had a program for Dutch babies.
It's like serving souffle at a
Yeah,
restaurant.
yeah.
Same deal.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, Bridget, next up is you talking about Induction because
I love that.
I don't have a lot of experience on it other than my little bitty portable ones. On Cairo, it's the
Okay.
Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. Do I see a couple cocktail ladies come in? Love it.
Time for a nap. Look at those blueberry muffins, huh?
Excellent muffins.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. I got a nod from Tom.
Doesn't seem that hard, does it? Why don't you lead us into this and tell us why you picked this?
Absolutely.
We are back here in the kitchen on Cairo Radio.
Woohoo!
It's Tom Douglas and Bridget Charters at the Hot Stove Society. We come to you every weekend.
Perfect.
You can watch us live typically on Thursday mornings, although in the next few weeks we have a couple extra shows coming up while I take
Like 5 extra
an
shows.
I'm taking an extended vacation for the second time
Good for you,
in
Tom.
50 years.
That's great.
Yeah.
You're due.
Good for you.
I did almost 10 years ago, I did 5 weeks in Paris to live like a Parisian.
Just you and Jackie.
Just me and Jackie. We rented a 5-story walk-up by Luxembourg Garden, and we just shopped at the market every day, ran into people we knew on the street, invited them over for dinner, cooked, blah, blah, blah.
Love
Alice
that.
Waters
No way.
on the street. Yeah,
Yeah.
she didn't come over for dinner, but I ran into her at a market. And yeah.
That
So
sounds
where are
fun.
you going this
Good
time?
fun. This time, the first week is the east coast of Scotland with the boys to play some golf. And
Nice.
then to Sicily, and then to Lisbon, and then to Bordeaux. And then the last week,
Lisbon.
the ladies come
Wow.
home, and I go back to the west coast of Scotland with the boys to play golf.
Oh, fun.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Sicily's amazing.
50 years.
Yeah.
My second longest vacation
That's
in 50
awesome.
years. Crazy, man. I'm just saying.
Let me know if you want some tips about Sicily.
I'll give you some tips, all right.
You got to go to those outer islands.
Watch out where the Huskies go. Don't you eat that yellow snow. There's a tip for you.
I
There
don't
you
have
have
a
it.
song for the Gonzaga.
You know who that is?
No.
Frank Zappa,
Oh.
who, if you look back on some of his musings, was a brilliant fella.
Okay.
I didn't realize.
You just
how-
don't want to talk about induction cooking, do you?
No, I do. Tell us why we're talking about induction cooking
Okay.
today.
Well, I'll just read something I kind of put together.
Do we have anybody call and ask?
Yes, we've
Okay, good.
had people.
She's got her AI. I've got it here too.
I don't have AI.
No, look. I mean, how the coils work.
Though induction cooking has been popular in Europe for decades, it's finally gaining traction in the U.S. Gas stoves are being phased out for environmental reasons in countries like Denmark, the Netherlands, Australia, and some U.S. cities, including Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco, Seattle, but we think that got voted down.
It got reversed.
It got reversed, and Washington, D.C. have adopted rules to ban or restrict the use of natural gas in new homes, and support all-electric construction. The move away from gas means that many homeowners are transitioning to more efficient appliances, including induction. And so maybe Bridget, you want to talk about how induction works different than gas and.
You can talk about it.
Okay.
And
so
you could also tell me while you're maybe if you've done this, are there induction ovens too?
there's stovetops. Then there's ovens, and there's the burners. You know the.
So it's not just a regular electric
Well,
oven.
induction, no, induction's contact. So
Yeah.
they're the
So
ovens.
it's just an electric oven.
the ovens are electric ovens with fans.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, but
Dual fuel.
right.
Yeah.
But it uses electromagnetic energy to create the heat inside the pot and pan. So actually, the pan is where the heat's coming from. So there's magnetic, and there's no.
You can touch
There's no
the-
heat.
You can
There's
touch
no
glass
heat on
top.
either.
You can touch the glass top, exactly. So for this phenomenon to work, cookware must be induction capable, which means it must contain sufficient ferromagnetic material made from or all clad with iron or steel.
Go back on
Okay.
that. It must
Fix that one, Sean.
contain a certain amount of magnetism, right?
Yes, so
Yeah.
it needs enough magnetism. So the pans have to be clad with iron or steel.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
And
aluminum and copper does not work.
correct. But nowadays, what's amazing, and Tom, I've been
Are you suggesting there's olden days?
olden days.
'Cause you said
No
nowadays.
kidding. Like when I got out of culinary school in San Francisco, the trend back then, and this was a long time ago, Tom, more than
I know
30
Bridget.
years ago, they were popping up these little teeny restaurants in basically closets, like along Valencia Street, up in Pacific Heights. They didn't need an overhead fan. What's the price on an overhead fan for a
Huge.
restaurant?
If you can even get a permit.
Yeah, it's
Because
like
if you're in a neighborhood where you got a bunch of condos and this apartments, this and that,
no
they don't want
can
you.
do.
They don't
yeah.
want a restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it started in Europe and then in San Francisco. This is back in the 80s.
That's when I first used it, was to kind of create a cooking station away from the main kitchen.
Right.
I put an induction burner in, and it worked beautifully, I will say.
Yeah.
I have never really mentally transitioned there, though, and I need to.
Right. Yeah, you do. And it's what's amazing doing these food and wine festivals. I worked with KitchenAid for years, and they'd always been working on it. Well, some friends of mine, the Hubers, bought a cooktop. I talked them into getting a KitchenAid cooktop that was induction, and it's got 5 burners with a big, giant center burner. And it's awesome. And the buttons work really well. What's interesting about induction is back in the old days when you and I were working with it, the magnetic field was kind of faulty. It wasn't super strong. It wasn't what it is now. And they've really improved the technology in the past 20 years, because we had it at the Art Institute on some of the cooking stations.
So, not to be negative, Nelly, which I
Yep.
never am usually.
Never.
I don't appreciate that. Why can't they just make an on and off button or an on plus plus plus, to get it to a higher temperature? Why do they have to make them like my wife's Rivian, where you have to have a tutorial just to drive the car?
No, they're on off.
Because the one I just used the other day was like, okay, I hate this thing because it's trying to be smarter than me, which, granted, doesn't take a lot, but still, why can't it just be more simple? What
It is.
they're all
It is
trying
now.
to show off their technology.
Well, that's the problem, is
Yeah.
you get these fancy pants designers that are like, dude, but I got to say, our friends at KitchenAid, they've been working on this for a long time. And you hit the button and it goes on. As long as there's a pot there, it goes on. So you put the pot down and you hit on, it goes on.
I like
and
that.
then it's great because you just look down and there's a dial, not in a circle, just back or forth, and you just sweep your finger. You just touch it and sweep it back and
Yeah,
forth, and it
see,
goes to 10.
We have different fingers, I think.
No,
Yeah.
it's like big fat
I mean, I'm not the
fingers like
sharpest
yours.
tool in the shed. You know that.
Tom, that
At
is
the same-
so not
at
true.
the same time,
Don't listen to him.
It should be so simple.
It is so simple. Hers
All
is
right,
amazing.
Let's move on to cooking with it.
Yes.
Okay.
The
What's-
only a downside is no wok, correct? Because you need
No,
a flat.
woks work.
They do.
They
They're
do?
flat bottomed.
No, they don't work. Don't listen to her.
I read
No,
they
it's
don't.
true. I mean,
in
and
a
the thing-
wok, for you to get the breadth of a wok, right? What is the breadth of the wok? The breath
is that
that
hot,
super burning
smoking
hot.
heat.
The oil in there is just smoking. That's the breath of the wok. You can't get that because on an induction burner, there's a at the bottom of the wok, there's what is it? The size of a baseball, the width of 3 inches.
No, they're making
where
them.
the wok hits.
They're making them bigger now, and what I've been seeing with the technology is they now, if your cookware isn't induction ready, guess what? You can just buy this inexpensive plate that you put on the burner and you put your
that's
pan on
nice.
there, and it's like finally, oh my God.
It doesn't seem that hard to figure out. to do
No,
that.
not at all. But it took, I swear to God, it took people 10 years, companies 10 years to figure that
Well-
out. So you can now buy a,
I would believe that a wok would work if there was an indentation in the stove where the pan could sit down in the
or
magnetic
a
field.
metal plate that's the shape of the bottom of the wok
Yeah.
that gets smoking hot.
I've seen nothing like that. Okay, let's cook.
Okay. So the
Let's
thing,
make something like spaghetti sauce.
Tom, you're like me, and it's like, let's go. Let's get this show on the road. Well, the
Okay.
beauty of induction is it boils water so fast. It's crazy. You turn away, like I'm over at the Huber's. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's make pasta. Or I got to blanch veggies or whatever. I put the pot on. I go over. I get a glass of wine. I come back, and the water's darn near boiling. It boils very fast.
Well, the real question is the wine gone also, because maybe there's a time lapse going on
perception.
here.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Anyway, the water boils quicker.
If you have it up high, I mean, can you go low? Because we had some burnt eggs with the
You know, when you
girlfriend's
go
trip.
low, I go high. Just so you know.
You have to be careful because it does get very hot, and it's like
Okay, let's make spaghetti sauce.
Okay, so you're browning the meat. Got a pan going. You got your
So-
veggies chopped. You got your meat ready to brown for the
Right,
spaghetti
and so
sauce.
do you have to edge it onto your burner? Because I've seen where you kind of move half the pan kind of off the burner so that you're not getting that intense.
Just turn it down, and it responds that quickly.
Uh-huh.
I'm a huge fan of this KitchenAid stove that my friends have. You just zip it down, and if you're like stressed about it, what I do is I have a pan on the back burner that I'm working something else, and so I'll just, if I want that lower burner like now, I'll just quick switch the
Flip it.
pans.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'll just slide them front to back.
That's a good tip.
Yeah, I mean, and it's quick and easy. So you're browning your meat. It browns really fast. So you better stay on it, Tom.
Uh-huh.
No drinking wine.
So like, unlike a gas burner, say, or maybe it's like a gas
There
burner,
is
you
no-
see no difference.
There is
So if somebody's just got one and they're saying, I don't know how to use this thing. How do I cook on this thing? Because it freaks people out.
yeah,
You're just going to say, treat it exactly the way you would a gas burner.
except it's faster.
Except
It's faster. Like if you want that pan hot to sear the meat, it's going to be half
But
the
it's
amount
faster
of
to
time.
get hot and faster to get cold.
Correct.
It's not like an old coil burner that you have to work your way down on.
Right, and if you slide your pan off the heat, it'll just start beep, beep, beep. It'll
Just
start
stops,
beeping.
right?
Yeah, and there's a lag time of about 10 seconds or so, and if it keeps beeping, it'll shut off. But if you quick slide it back on, it'll keep going, and then you can drop the temp down. But it cooks very quickly. You know, your sauce
Is there any dish that you've done on a induction that works better than gas? Like technically, is it better for like you're making pudding or a Bavarian cream, or is there anything that so it's nothing to you?
It's that concept of lifting the pan to saute that's weird.
That's weird because it turns off the burner.
Correct. And
That
so
happens.
you and I are so
Yeah.
used to, so you got to use a spoon and stir it that way. You can still, KitchenAid has fixed that in that you've got that lag of a couple of seconds to toss, but most home cooks don't toss pans like you and I do.
Yeah, because I'm a lifter.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's tricky.
Yeah.
But sauces, things like that, where you're stirring and just, it's pretty cool.
All right. Well, get out there, give induction a try. They're a little bit expensive still, right?
Yeah, but the price is coming down, and folks can go up to Albert Lee Appliances, and they've got cooking stations for you.
Did
Bring
they
some
pay you to
stuff.
say that?
No.
No, okay, good.
But I should.
Let's
talk
make
to
some
them.
fish tacos when we come back.
I love fish
Are you all
tacos.
good with that? On Cairo
Yes.
Radio,
All
that's the
right,
Hot
sounds good.
Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
I should get KitchenAid.
So
KitchenAid.
do you guys know what you have in front of you? No, some of you do. Have been here before. On the right, the little wedge is a Spanish tortilla, which has got potatoes and browned onions and eggs. In the middle of that plate is ruby chard, where the stems were cooked in advance. And then for the last couple of minutes, we put the greens in and finish those off with our fish taco spice, which is 4 mild chilies, lemon and lime crystals. So it brightens things. And then the final piece is the Spanish-style chorizo, which has a little bit of garlic, a little bit of cumin. And if you don't like it, we have a restaurant downstairs called Lola that will charge you a good amount of money for breakfast.
The shakshuka, yeah. Did you see there were protests in Spain about no chorizo in paella? It was just like yesterday.
No chorizo in paella?
Yeah, people were wearing shirts that said no chorizo in Valencia.
Okay. Okay, you ready, set? How's breakfast so far? Excellent. Excellent.
Oh, got a little clapping there.
We're back, and it's time for fish tacos because I made a dad pun. Becky, are you a fish taco person?
Absolutely.
I find that people just love them.
Love.
Loretta loves fish tacos.
I do too.
You do too?
I'd prefer to have sand between my toes and I'm on the beach while I'm eating those fish tacos.
So it brings back memories.
So if you're,
Big
are
time.
you telling me that you would take a fish taco, like a mahi-mahi fish taco, over a crispy kind of carnitas taco?
I like them all.
Oh, see.
I even the deep fried ones that were made here in the States as a version of those deep fried puffy pieces of fish.
I don't know what you're talking. Oh, you mean the fish itself was fried?
Yeah.
The fish is deep fried with the batter, with that mayonnaise sauce. Yum.
What do you like about fish tacos?
I like the lighter version that's more a grilled fish.
Griddled fish.
Grilled with lime and cilantro and maybe some just
little
brighter.
salsa.
Brighter. But the heavier one, the deep fried, I'm sure I would eat it, but it's not as delicious. And the tortilla has to be right.
Yeah.
And so
that's a struggle, the tortillas. It's
Yeah.
a struggle for us, too. We sell lots of fish tacos.
Or find the
But-
right brand.
Yeah, there's no right brand.
Okay.
Unless you're making them yourself, there's
Yeah.
really,
Yeah,
it's a
I
compromise.
agree. I agree.
Yeah. Last time I had a fish taco was at Tommy Bahamas
Recently.
on the Big Island of Hawaii. We had fish tacos and coconut shrimp, and that was one trashy lunch right there.
Perfect. Grilled.
And trashy is about the highest level I get to in my compliments. That was super trashy.
Was the tortilla soft or crispy?
It was soft, and it was the tortilla. I just left on the plate.
Disintegrated?
I ate the filling.
I sometimes
Which
do
I
that too.
often do, yeah.
If it's not worth it, it's
Yeah.
not worth it because it also
But you
takes.
have to have a good slaw if you're going to do that, and that's what makes Seatowns, I think, really delicious. Is that herbaceous slaw that we serve, nice and limey, serrano chili, mint, Thai basil, carrots, shredded cabbage, you name it. It's a delicious little slaw.
Yum. Yeah, there was this place, I think it's closed now, down in Baja, just outside of San Jose. We'd go to Kathy Connor's place, Buzzards.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my God. They're like, what kind of fish taco do you want? Do you want mahi-mahi? You want the huachinango? What do you want?
Yeah.
Corvina?
Raw tuna.
Oh, my God. So good.
Yeah.
And
So what is it? What drives you over the edge for? You just said you love them, and your voice right there.
Oh,
What combination? What magic does it have to have a margarita to make it good?
no, it's the
'Cause for me,
smokiness.
without the margarita, I was like, take it away.
No, but it's the smokiness of the fish just coming right off of the grill. It's warm. They usually hit it with some kind of a chili spice or something. And then the fish just hits that tortilla warm, gets a little bit of slaw, a little bit of cilantro.
And
then
always
usually,
that mayo mix that they...
No, Buzzards just had salsa, and they were like, what kind of salsa do you want? They had a mango. They had a salsa. Salsa verde is my jam. Love salsa verde, but like I won't turn down a mango salsa.
What makes a perfect salsa verde for you? Because I have my own version.
Bright green. You know, it can be just those partially raw. I like the raw tomatillo salsa versus the cooked tomatillo
And I like
salsa.
the cooked. Yeah.
Oh.
Shocking that we would have a difference of opinion on that.
I know.
Yeah.
Salt the water or not.
Yeah.
And so it's just that super bright kind of, as you say, with the herbs, that nice grassy flavor. And you just daub that on the taco as you're eating it. So it's like the salsa, it's all kind of getting kind of addressed with that salsa as you go along. And Buzzards, maybe they'll reopen it. It had a sand
What an
floor.
enticing name for a restaurant.
You won't forget it.
You do. No, but the floor was sand. There was no floor. It was an old
I
surfer
see.
bar.
Those are fun. So if you're in Seattle, we do have access to a lot of beautiful fish. What types of fish would be good contenders for a grilled?
We use a true cod out of Alaska. Beautiful, just... You know, people love that fish because it doesn't taste fishy.
Right.
I tend to be more of a fishy person. I would put a salted mackerel on there in a heartbeat.
Oh, that'd be good. Black cod's pretty darn good
black
on
cod,
a fish
yeah.
taco.
Yeah.
And snapper, what they call snapper,
Or rockfish.
is rockfish.
Yeah.
Right. Salmon's good.
So then you have to put a little rub on there.
Yes.
We use our fish taco rub, which has got 4 mild chilies, guajillo, ancho, a paprika chili, and don't remember the last one. And then lemon and lime crystals. And so what that does...
just knocks it over the park. I love that spice
Yeah, and
blend
so you
for not just fish tacos.
We don't have a
but
wood
anything.
grill, but we have a griddle.
Uh-huh.
And so you just put that spice side down on the griddle. We make 2 to 3 ounce pieces. So it cooks in a minute or two. Just give it a hard sear. And then while that's searing, you're just building your taco plate. So good tortilla, there's slaw. Unlike Bridget, I like a cooked tomatillo salsa. I literally just take a cookie sheet, put down my parchment paper, put my whole peeled tomatillos, serrano chilies, chopped onions, some red peppers, bell peppers, and I just put them under the broiler and give them a hard char.
So no,
You just
no
quick-
oil on it. Just
a
okay,
hard
oil.
char under the broiler. Bring it all out, chop it all up, add lime juice, cilantro.
You don't throw it in the blender?
No.
Ah.
I like to see the chunks. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it is pretty good. I mean, it works fine in the blender, but it makes it a little soupy.
Yeah, and it's like rainy nights like tonight, go make a fish taco. I was going to say a good cheat is that Rick Bayless salsa that's in the jars at the grocery store.
His products are pretty good, I think.
Yeah, his
I was talking to him the other day. He has over 300 different products now in the marketplace.
Wow.
Get out.
300.
Wow.
And are they all the same theme? The same Mexican?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where his business has gone, is there.
You think?
Yeah. But with fish tacos, I mean, you can just go to the fish counter and, like, what's not super expensive that's delicious and you're not sure how to cook it, like, turn it into a fish taco.
So here's something that I would never have said a few years back, which is if you are in that situation where you can't make your own tortillas, to me, the bad corn tortillas that you get at the grocery store, either you fry them and you make a tostada type shell
right.
for your fish taco, or you get the combo, the wheat corn mix,
That's a good
because
tip.
it's a much better in my
hold up
mind.
better?
Well, they griddle better than just a corn
Got it.
tortilla. So there's a combo out there called, it's a wheat corn mix. I don't know what the percentage is.
That's a good tip. When I've had taco parties, I get everything ready, and then we have the tortillas that I didn't make, and I just turn on the gas stove, and we
You
just
apologize when your guests show up before
No,
you
they're-
even start dinner?
they
and
don't
you say,
expect much
So
from me.
not-
just so that you know, before you sit down, I did not love you enough to make homemade tortillas for you.
No.
No?
We got to get Becky here for one of our masa masters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've done it. I do make them sometimes, and
You
I've got
do?
the
Okay.
one of the guys that worked with you had a tortilla
Yeah.
press.
Carmen, our coworker out at the
Yeah.
farm, uses a little bit of lard, which I don't use. And
Oh.
you don't use lard either. You're just water and masa harina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's
nice.
something we couldn't do if we had an induction oven or induction top, because people just take their tortillas and throw it right on the gas, flip it over, and
That
then
is
build.
not the healthiest thing to do, I will say.
Uh-oh.
You can ask a lot of Latinos that they do it, and I've done it, but it's not probably consistently a healthy.
Because it chars the.
The gas and
Okay.
and the char, yeah. So. That's what
Wow,
I've
I gotta
heard.
change my game.
No, I mean you can get griddles now that are induction ready. There's no excuse, Becky.
Well, there is an excuse. She just remodeled her house for like the 10th time.
Oh
And,
no way!
No, just
She's
just
blushing now. Holy smokes!
there was a fire.
There happened to be a fire.
Oh,
It was caused by an induction burner.
it was.
No combustible
Okay.
rags.
Combustible rags.
Yeah.
What was on those rags?
They were staining wood stairs, throwing the
Ah.
rags inside a trash can inside in the living room.
Hello.
Had we gone wood floors instead of tile, the houses next to us, every wood thing would have been gone.
Yeah.
So, oh well, it's all good now.
And the wind was down.
True.
Did this just happen?
know.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
You missed all this.
I
Anyway,
didn't realize that
Let's
was the
stay on
fire.
our. Let's finish up with our. What's the crema?
The crema is you can
Because
buy.
everyone seems to come with a crema.
well,
Every fish
not
taco.
well.
Most every fish.
Okay,
Taco. Our fish tacos come with a
Cilantro,
crema.
copy
lime.
that.
Cactus
So-
does a nice one.
But it's just you can buy the crema, which is kind of a watered down sour cream or a creme fraiche.
So we're
It's
just going to make our own.
yeah sour,
Sour
cream,
cream.
lime, a little bit of water, salt.
Yogurt works too. It's still got that tart deliciousness.
Yogurt doesn't work.
Yeah,
Nobody has a fish taco with yogurt.
Becky raised
You
her
are
hand.
killing me. In the next hour, Belinda Kelly and Venice Cunningham are here to share thoughts about their new book, Drink Your Garden, Recipes and Stories and Tips from Simple Goodness Cocktail Farm. Also, we're going to do father-daughter with Jim, one of our longtime listeners. He's the Fat Tomato Club.
He'll clarify that.
Danae McLaughlin is here to talk tamales, and we're going to have some trivia at the end of the show on Cairo. It's the Hot Stove Society, 97.3 FM. If I ever got it right, Jim, you'd be so disappointed.
I always look forward to finding out.
Your new name. We have to pop out those beverages first.
Yes.
Do you want some help from our chefs to get the beverages going? Yeah, let's do it. Danae, would you mind helping out over here for 1 minute? I think we're going to pull Becky's over. Yeah, just because it's too hard to go back and forth like that. So you're going to need to go all the way to them.
Wow, look at that. That is beautiful.
Do you have a couple of NAs back there, ladies? Okay, good.
these NA? Go home and take. Wow, that smells amazing.
Little fennel.
Wait till at least 11.
Have a seat, get comfortable. I'll move the mics around.
Okay.
As
Like
Tom
that?
does.
Second.
Comfortable seating
Sure.
position.
Cute.
Thanks. Drink for you. Drink for me.
Hi.
Hi.
Tom.
I'm Venice.
Venice, nice to meet you.
You too.
Belinda.
Okay.
Yum.
Okay. Thanks. Great.
I don't know that. Oh, yeah, it does.
I just get a tall person adjustment. That feels fun.
No, it gets you
Yeah.
to sit up straight.
Stand up straight. Okay. That's great. Yeah.
Okay, so let's practice for just 1 second. So this is where we want to be.
Okay, right here.
So you sound like the voice of God.
Okay, got it.
Here? No good.
Okay.
You're in your car and I-5. I can't hear you.
Okay.
Okay?
Got it.
So both of you, when you talk, just get right on top
Like
of
you're
it.
singing karaoke.
Yep.
This I've been trained for.
And remembering the words.
Yes. For everyone drinking out there, just in case of allergies or medication things, this is a grapefruit-based cocktail. It also has fennel in it. So if you have any problems with fennel, mint, or grapefruit, I'm sorry. You'll miss out.
Glad you said that because I can't have grapefruit.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No problem.
I picked one of the more savory drinks in the book because I know
love
that's
it.
more
I
your
love
speed.
it.
But good.
Is this
It's not
Okay.
that I
gin?
don't love it.
I know it's got the medication interferences.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grapefruit's funny that way.
Is it a gin?
It's actually not. It's a fennelcello, which the recipe for the fennelcello is in the book.
But it's vodka.
Yeah, so it's vodka, and then you make your own liqueur with it.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Hot Stove Society show on Cairo. Big hour coming your way. We have Belinda Kelly and Venice Cunningham here to share thoughts on their new book, Drink Your Garden, Recipes, Stories, and Tips from the Simple Goodness Cocktail Farm right here in Washington.
Yeah. In
You-
Buckley.
In Buckley.
In Buckley.
Yeah.
Cool.
Your family grew up in Kent, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
In the valley.
In the valley. I didn't even know Kent was that all. It used to be Garlic Gulch, I understand, but you guys are carrying on a long tradition of farming in the Kent Valley.
Yep. Our aunt was a berry farmer, aunt and uncle down there for a while. And then
And it
our,
was a second generation farm, so he grew up on the farm.
yeah, and then our grandparents were raised their family, 8 kids in
I'm
Kent.
one of 8 myself.
Our mom's the youngest. She's here, actually.
Oh, hi, Mom.
She's in the red dress over there.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
my baby
awesome.
sister lives in Tacoma, but I'm the middle child of 8 myself. So it's like Catholic, no doubt.
Yep,
Yeah.
Catholic. For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, contraception was not in the vocabulary.
Nope.
No, exactly. Tell us about your new book.
Yeah, so Drink Your Garden is inspired by our work and our families and this area in the Pacific Northwest and all the great flavors we have here. We have a soda shop, which is like our tasting room and sober-friendly bar in Wilkeson, Washington. And we have been making these drink syrups since 2018. It's actually the last and only other time we've been on the show. We got to meet you then.
We've had you on here before.
Yeah, I have a funny story about that we should talk about later because you were right about something, and I have to
really?
give you that moment.
That's the first time. Don't tell Jim Maurer over there. He's like shaking his head. No way.
No, but you were. But so we've been taking all these experiences of doing these seasonal bartending and cocktail catering. I also had a mobile bar. And we took all those recipes and just wanted to bring them to people in more ways. And I think we've already got a lot of ways. You know, we have a tasting room, we have a product, we have the catering, but I wanted something where everyone could take this concept and really bring it into their own kitchens and learn how to drink this way because, like we said, it's kind of the most joyful and fun entry into seasonal eating that we've ever found. It's like cocktails can be a really good gateway into cooking from scratch or growing things and using them in your home cooking. So the recipes are really all about that. Like, how can you preserve what's in your garden, not just on a plate, but maybe in a drink as well?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like I don't think many people think about their garden being a cocktail farm. You are the farmer of the group, Venice.
I am. Yep. It's we're on 10 acres in Buckley, right at the base of Mount Rainier, and we have about an acre that's dedicated to mostly perennial herbs, edible flowers, and then we have kind of a test garden where I get to play with fun, new, different things, mostly edible flowers, because edible flowers are one of those weird things. A lot of people grow them to look at and to be pretty, and so you have to grow a couple of them and see if they taste good and what you can do with them, if they can freeze well, how they act in drinks. And so that's kind of my favorite part, is trying new and fun things.
That's
And
great.
you're the bartender of the group.
Yes, yeah. We were playing around with titles, and I said chief beverage officer, but we decided that was too corny. So.
We had a chief vegetable officer for a while at our company because she was just trying to get our menus to be more focused. And your book, it focuses a little bit on NA stuff also.
Yeah.
Which I think is super fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really big moment happening right now in the world, right? Where people are thinking about, more mindfully about what they consume and how they imbibe. And this book is really all about that, not just in the NA section, which is great and it's robust, but my goal is to really make moderation sexy again. And I think the way you do that is you get closer to your food. The more you respect something that you make, the more you're going to treat it with a little bit more pastiche and a little more spirit to it. So when you drink this way, instead of just popping open a seltzer can or something, it's a little more mindful, it's a little more celebratory, it's a lot of fun. And so even if you're drinking cocktails and you're going back and forth between a cocktail or a mocktail one day, I want you to have a great time and a great experience making the drinks, and maybe it would even change your relationship with alcohol a little bit. That's kind of our secret goal.
Have you thought about creating your own orangery, like the old kings used to do, where you could grow your own citrus too?
Oh, life goals.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah. I always say the
it's
next
such an
farm
important
I
part of
buy.
cocktails, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The next farm I buy is going to be my retirement home, and I'm just going to go back and forth and have cocktail farms all over the nation.
But I bet you could put up a greenhouse out there and
Totally.
Yeah.
Grow some citrus.
We probably could.
Take all the money you're making and just buy a greenhouse.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll write a grant for that.
Exactly. Tell us about what's in front of all of our guests here. When you do come for breakfast here at the Hot Stove radio show, you tend to get a little taste of this and that of what you bring. And you brought us a beautiful looking beverage this morning.
Yeah, this is called the Romans Empire. It's one of the more savory cocktails in the book, and it's meant to be a breakfast, brunchy kind of drink in the same vein of something like a Greyhound, which happens to be one of Venice's favorite cocktails of all time.
It is. All-time favorite.
I'm there with you.
It's a great one. So fresh squeezed grapefruit juice. It's got a fenolcello, which one of the things about the book is that we not only tell you how to make the cocktails, but how to make all the bases and
It's not
spirits,
just the mixology
shrubs.
thing. It's more of from the ground up.
Yeah, because otherwise, a lot of cocktail books, they're just referring you to a lot of other products, or they don't really maybe give you the full information of like how to make that thing yourself. Fennelcello is not available on the market widely, so you can make that at home. It's really a fun way to experiment with different liqueurs and use up some of your produce. So the fennelcello in there is what gave it kind of that gin flavor, you know, that very like aromatic herbal.
How do you make fennelcello?
Like you make any liqueur. It's actually wildly easy.
So start like what, a vodka base or a clear alcohol grain base?
Clear alcohol base. I usually do a corn-based vodka for our gluten-free friends, and then I will add back 25% like sugar about. Commercial liqueurs are anywhere from like 15 to 30. It kind of depends on where you're buying them. UK is a little different than here. There's some legal definitions as with most alcohol things.
Do you make a simple syrup that's infused as your sugar?
Yes. So you make an infused simple syrup and then you add it to the vodka, but you're also infusing the vodka. So you're taking an infused spirit and an infused simple syrup and then combining them.
Wow, that's great.
And this recipe really, like many of our recipes, originated from having way too much fennel that bolted and went to seed. And I like literal trees of fennel. And I was like, Belinda, what am I going to do with all of this fennel? And she was like, well, we'll make something out of it. So we harvested all of the blooms at the end of the season.
Which has all the pollen in it, right?
Yep.
Which is
Did you harvest
my
the
favorite
pollen?
fennel flavor.
I did not.
I know,
but
it's
it's all
hard.
kind of in there.
Right.
There are
the bees
flower,
love it.
the fennel flower. We just took the whole head
Yeah.
and
So it goes
threw
with
that
the
right
pollen,
in there,
yeah.
and then we chopped up stems. So it like you've got seeds, you've got stems, everything,
When they're
every stage of a
grassy and
fennel.
green like that, they're
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I've got one plant in my yard
Well, you're lucky.
that produces a quart and a half of seeds every year.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm not surprised by it because
Well, I grew
the
fennel
bees
once.
were so happy with it.
And now I have fennel literally everywhere. Like I could plant the entire yard and it would be fennel. Like it self-seeds if you let it seed, which I did. Now it's everywhere.
yeah, we could make a lot of fennelcello now.
It's considered a noxious weed, I think, like dill is, right?
I would imagine so because it's literally
It
everywhere.
was
But
in
the
a
bees do
raised
love
bed.
it.
It just kind of went crazy in a year when we were writing this book and we were really busy. So just, got out of hand.
Yeah, the fun thing about this book, I love your infusion page because I'm looking for
Right?
the equipment.
Yeah.
Which is at the beginning with the canning and all of that, but then there's that infusion page, and it's
This
like,
is
whoa.
the guide I needed for so many years. And I just decided when I read a lot of cookbooks. I'm a huge cookbook lover and have all the different cocktail books. And there's some like Liquid Intelligence that get really nitty gritty on like the science of bar. And then there's others like, you've got your flavor Bible with all the charts and that and stuff. And what I wanted was the chart that I needed, which is just like, if I want to make a syrup or a spirit out of lavender or borage flower or peaches, how do I do that the best way? How long does it take? And it's just the
Perfect.
best cheat sheet.
Yeah, this is a great,
Thank you.
yeah, super cool.
Denise, when you talk about 10 acres, that immediately would say to some folks, I don't even have a patio, right? But there's also a page in here where you have planting a 4x4 cocktail garden, which is a patio, a half a patio size. What's the important base of that garden? Like, are there things that you wouldn't miss?
Yeah,
planting?
I think it really depends on if you're going kind of with your most stable, like you're going to use it in a lot of ways, or if you're trying to really go unique and different, and kind of where you land there. But obviously, if you're going with your hard hitters, it's going to be like your rosemary, all of your perennial herbs. I always say plant those first, right? Because those are going to grow and they're going to continue on for years and years. So those are everything that we planted first, and now they're literal sizes, we say, of buses, and we could make so much syrup out of them.
But they're great companions too to all the other stuff you're going to plant. And in that chart, it's set up to be companion planting as well.
I was gonna say, but there's some ones you wouldn't expect, like kale chard.
Yeah.
For your cocktail garden.
Yeah, Belinda has a whole recipe with kale chard. That's the beautiful thing about when you talk about a cocktail garden. My garden doesn't look that much different than anyone else's. It's just the purpose of it, right? And so a lot of people they're growing kale or chard, and obviously with those, it's like they go crazy, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I have kale coming out of my ears, and I'm tired of eating kale. What do I do with it? And so that's really the intention also behind this, is like refocusing what you can do with your garden.
Okay. Tell us quickly, we only have a minute, about what the syrups are that you I've seen in the grocery stores.
Yeah, we sell the drink syrups. They are available at Conan's Diner and Kitchen and Market here in Seattle, as well as boutiques.
Cookie
We love our
and,
boutique shops. You can use them for mocktails, cocktails. Even a lot of our customers use them for baked goods and cake soaks and things like that. They're available. They were kind of the inspiration behind a lot of these recipes and a lot of these drinks. But whether you want to do a shortcut and buy the syrup already done, or you make it yourself, we're happy either way.
Ah, fun.
If you want to meet these fine ladies and have them sign a copy of a new book being Drink Your Garden, Recipe Stories and Tips from Simple Goodness Cocktail Farm, they're going to be at the Book Larder in Fremont on March 27th. There's a recipe demo, author talk, book signing, and loveliness. I'm sure you'll have a few samples there that day.
We will.
Absolutely, we will. And in 2018, the thing you were right about is you told us to move to a smaller bottle size for shelf turnover.
Uh-huh.
You were right.
Oh,
we went
good.
from 12 ounces to 7 ounces.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
good idea.
Turnover's
very
better
smart.
too,
Yeah.
When we come back, father-daughter duo Jim and Jennifer Maurer join us to talk about shepherd's pie. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for coming and bringing us these taste treats. It's Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Okay, one of you have to pick a lucky audience winner. They're going to win a signed copy of this beautiful book.
Oh, very good.
Okay. Did we announce it in the mic?
Christy Cuts.
Rich, can you pass it?
I'm going to buy a copy.
Where's Countryman Press? So, national. Yeah. Good. Fun.
Okay. Give it to Annie.
Jim, where are you?
Take your seat.
All right. Hide over on the side.
Adjust the mics for you.
All right. That looks good.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Good. Excited for the shepherd's pie.
We'll see how it turned out. I was not involved in the making of this one, so.
Oh.
Thank you. More breakfast?
Perfect.
I started running out of steam at the end of the Spanish tortilla because I scarfed down the muffin and then, all that goodness.
Yeah.
And now time for plate number 3.
You can, I know, you can just get a to-go box.
We're all waiting for you, Dad.
We're going to discuss your restroom activities on the first part of the show.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
We're back here in the Hot Stove Kitchens, downtown Seattle. If you've never been, you should come join us sometime. Our next guest has a few times. Jim Maurer is here, your lovely daughter, Jennifer.
That's all right.
Does she cook with you once in a while?
Once in a while. In fact, that's why you haven't her on the air.
Really?
Yes.
Jennifer, does he let you be you in the kitchen, or is he like Mr. Bossy Fat Tomato?
It varies. It depends on whose kitchen it is.
I see.
Usually I have a little more control in my own kitchen, and then I get to boss him around.
I see. Huh. Okay, Jim, tell us about you and your dining group, and then we'll move on to what you brought us to try today.
Well, what Tom was referring to on the fat tomatoes is
Don't you love a big fat tomato?
I do.
Yeah.
And it's kind of reflective of the people. Anyway, for over a decade, we've had a food club where 4 of my friends and I get together a couple of times, maybe every couple of months, and just cook together. We were on the show once, and you said it was kind of the New Age poker club. I thought that was a very good description of it. All of our spouses have some kind of food sensitivity or allergy, and we don't. So this is a night.
So you don't invite them?
No.
Oh.
No. This is the guys get together and have some fun. One
Chow
of them.
down.
Usually we get left out of all these things. I'm glad you took it upon yourself.
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
And one of them has a very large wine cellar. So
that's
we
so sad.
typically go to his house.
Grease the wheels a little bit there, doesn't
Yes.
it? Everything tastes better with wine.
It does. But unfortunately, he moved to Atlanta to be close to his wife's family. So we made a trip out there last year, just the 4 of us to go out there. But we still have the cooking club.
Jennifer, have you ever been invited to one of their soirees?
I have been, actually. That comes into my kitchen as well. So I live out on Bainbridge Island, and I have a wonderful view with a deck. And so they've actually started coming out to my house once a year for a cooking extravaganza. And I get to
fun.
taste their lovely food
What
and
kind
wine.
of stove do you have? Because that would be my first question. What kind of grill do you have outside, and what kind of stove do you have inside?
All right, I'm not going to admit to my grill outside because I've had it for probably 10, 15 years, and it's a Home Depot special that just keeps on
That's okay.
going.
That's okay.
She has a pizza oven, though.
But inside, I have a very lovely LaConche.
Ah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Very fancy. They get hot, though. Those little handles get hot, don't they?
Yes, they do. It's a beautiful French stove.
What color?
It's just black. I have a very old house, and so I got it to kind of blend in. The house was built in 1898, so.
But all the chrome fittings on it. It's not just black.
Yeah.
I'm sure you strolled by my mother's Wedgwood over here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's got a little chrome on itself. Okay, so we were on the show talking St. Patrick's Day a week or two ago, and Jim, what piqued your interest about shepherd's pie other than the fact that I don't know that I've ever made one?
Well, I guess a listener asked for this segment, and you didn't seem too excited about it. It was just comfort food. I mean, you gave it a good try, but I wrote in the comments, since I was watching on YouTube Live, that the best shepherd's pie I ever had was one my daughter made. And in fact, I thought it was probably the best meal I had had in a couple of months. And Becky had mentioned she was going to try shepherd's pie, so I asked Jennifer to send me the description of what she did. I wouldn't call it exactly a full recipe. And I sent it to Becky and said, you ought to try this. And she said, well, I will. And Jennifer and I had already signed up for this week's show, and one thing led to another, and all of a sudden, now I'm making the shepherd's pie, and we're
Wait a second. It's Jennifer's recipe, and you're making it?
Well, it's because Becky challenged me to it, but it's not going to be as good as Jennifer's because the ingredients that she's going to describe are not available right now. It's not spring yet.
Okay, Jennifer, you're going to have to start us off here.
Yeah, so a little bit of backstory. I mentioned I live over on Bainbridge, and one of the things that's great is over there we have a pretty good local food scene with a bunch of farms and that kind of thing. And
great town and country market.
Oh, town and country is amazing over there. Yeah. And the other thing is the Hitchcock Restaurant Group is based over there. And during the pandemic, one of the things they did, not only to support themselves, but all of the local producers they work with, is they created a CSA box. But it wasn't just, veggies. It was a whole meal theme. So you got the meat and veggies to go with it, and spices, and a little bit of a recipe / guidance of how to do that. And so the shepherd's pie actually came from that. So my Hitchcock box for the week included all of the ingredients for it.
To make it.
Exactly.
And a CSA box is community supported agriculture, for those that you don't know. And many local farms have those, and you can sign up for them, and it really helps give them a consistent cash flow.
Absolutely. And so not only for the shepherd's pie did it have amazing local ingredients that were very fresh, but it also kind of brought a unique twist to it. So you had lamb as the base, but instead of kind of mushy peas or things like that, which is probably one of the things that people don't necessarily like.
That's what makes good crappy Scottish food crappy.
Well, instead of that, it switched in fiddlehead ferns, and that gave it a nice kind of crunchy test to it.
I bet it did.
And unfortunately, it's a little too early in the season for that. Some foraged mushrooms, wild onion leeks instead of kind of storage onions, and just a really nice fresh flavor to it. And then topped all off with some Beecher's cheese.
Fun. And did you compare it to any kind of classic English Scottish shepherd's pie recipes?
Not taste-wise, just went for the good stuff. But I would say it's actually fairly traditional because lamb is the traditional base. And really it was only swapping out a couple of those key ingredients. So, peas for the fiddleheads, and then kind of upgrading the onions to be a stronger variety.
A little bit more leek or ramp or whatever
exactly.
it is of the season. Yeah. Well, it's quite delicious.
Yes.
It is ground lamb, which isn't always my favorite thing.
No.
To me, like when I'm making that kind of food, I tend to buy stew meat, but I don't know if that's at all traditional. I've almost always you see ground meat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever use a mixture of meats, or is it always straight up lamb?
I've only made it a couple of times, so I wouldn't say this is a
You're getting
a big
all this love from your dad, and you've only made it a couple of times?
Yeah, I mean, that usually the first time I make something, it's the best, and then it goes downhill from there.
Well, expectations are really high.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
So on my side, full disclosure, this was in the spring of 2022, so it was right in the middle of COVID. And Jennifer was working from home and isolating on the island, so she was our one bubble. So was the flavor of it partly because of the company. That's always
So often, I mean, that's such
So
a
often.
strong point that you're
It
making
is.
because its company is with your brothers that you cook with, right?
Yes.
You know that a company is a lot of what a
Right.
meal is. Yeah.
But I will say, the memory is there, but it was still the best shepherd's pie I've ever had.
And you'd had one
Nice.
before.
I've had them in restaurants.
Okay.
Ah.
I
Classic pub food. I mean.
Oh yes, yeah, comfort food. So I was anxious to see what you thought of my version. I know you're very honest about this.
He's
so-
very picky.
He is.
It looks to me like you've got is it snap peas?
Yes, snap peas.
So that's an upgrade. Nice job there. I like seeing and eating the carrots that they're not just ground and kind of grounded in like bolognese. So when I'm having something like this, I like to see the ingredients. So I think it's lovely. The
thank you.
potatoes are cheesy, oily, delicious, fatty, good, as they should be.
Creme fraiche
Creme fraiche.
and butter.
Oh.
And they pick up the fat from the meat, I'm sure. So, no, it's delicious. You heard me open the show, I believe, with meatloaf. It really reminds me of the dinner we made last night. Funny to have the two right next to each other.
Yeah, sounded very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had been at the market the previous week because we had some overnight guests, and they had some beautiful snap peas. So I decided, well,
Perfect,
let's
yeah.
check.
Those
And
are the kind of things people get scared to make those adjustments in recipes. And I understand that you're trying to follow a recipe, but it's okay.
yeah. So how would you take ordinary to extraordinary? Besides what we described with the fiddlehead birds, what else would you do?
I would use like maybe lamb shank meat and then cook the lamb
Yeah,
shanks so that it's got that lusciousness, right? And then put that into my carrots and peas and blah blah blah. And I think that would, for me, it would be more my taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bridget?
the concept of the short rib, because I've had shepherd's pie with beef by somebody that was Irish, and they made short ribs and cooked them, slow cooked them, and then had some for dinner, but then the leftovers and all the fat and goodies went into the shepherd's pie the next day. So,
That sounds really good.
yeah, and I agree with the leeks and some nice green garlic, yum.
Yeah, it's getting to be the time of year for that too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Loving spring's around the corner. Actually,
Oh
it's
my
here
God.
this weekend.
Today, right?
Thank you,
This morning. Yeah.
Jim. And Jennifer, thank you for sharing your shepherd's pie done right on Cairo Radio.
Delicious.
The hot stove. Come right back for some tamales.
Thank you. So good. Really good.
Good fun.
Well, thank you for
He drug you all the way over here.
Well, we were coming
He
anyway.
was dragging me over here, and it suddenly turned from I'm coming to the show to I'm coming on the show.
On the show, yeah. Love it.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Danae, you're up.
Good job, guys. Jack of all trades, master of none. That's me. Okay. Yeah, I know I have to get close to this thing.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here we go. We're going to talk tamales here on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society show. Many of our chefs pull multiple duties here at the Hot Stove when it comes to classes. Bridget, you do masa masters, but you also do paella parties. Tom Douglas
Pasta.
Classics, pasta. Danae, what are some of the ones that you've done?
I just did a sushi class.
Sushi.
Yeah.
And I saw dumplings last week.
Yeah,
right?
dumplings around the world. I have this brunch series that I've started where I just do different brunches from around the world.
And you're one of our chef instructors here, but you also helped make breakfast this morning and you're getting things prepped up.
Yeah.
You put out Jim's shepherd's pie beautifully.
Oh, thank you.
It was delicious.
Are you guys full yet?
know.
You've had a
I
lot
think
to
that was
eat
more
this
about the
morning.
shepherd's pie than my putting it out.
with the drink on top of it, it's like
Oh,
nap
yeah.
time, right, everybody? Yeah.
Yeah, that drink was delicious.
So, Danae, you've got a class coming up. It's sold out already, but so for the next time, if you're ever checking out hotstovesociety.com, you can see as the classes come up. This one sold out fast. Tell us about your tamale class and what's it going to be? What's it going to entail? 'Cause
Yeah, so
I love me a tamale.
Yeah, I do too. We're gonna do a sweet and a savory tamale this time. We try to change it up. It's always tamales, but we try to change it up a little bit if it's seasonal. I did one in summer where we had the fresh shucked corn. So this time I just thought it'd be fun to do a sweet tamale, like a dessert tamale. That's gonna have raisins soaked in rum and lots of seasonings, and then a caramel sauce. So we're going to make the masa both ways and then wrap the tamales. The sweet tamales are a little smaller. They're like cocktail size. And then the other tamales would be, regular size.
Right.
There's going to be a chicken chili verde filling. And then we're going to have them make 2 sauces. And one of the sauces they're actually going to be able to take home.
So let's make a tamale.
Okay.
So let's start from the beginning. And my favorite tamale I ever had in my whole darn life, and I'm old.
Whoa.
Was Mark Miller's tamales at Coyote Cafe in Santa Fe.
I got to
New
agree
Mexico.
with you.
They were so full of butter.
Oh,
and
yeah.
fresh corn.
Well,
Yeah.
and the
Green
flavors.
chilies.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I did with his tamales was I took fresh corn greens, the
silk?
leaves.
The husks.
The husk. And I cut those in a way where I could use those as my wrap
Oh,
instead of the dried
nice.
husk. And it adds a much fresher flavor to the
Yeah.
mix. So let's start with masa harina, right? Is
Yes.
that where we're going to get
Yeah,
rolling?
masa harina is the flour.
So that's a corn flour made literally from corn, nixtamalized corn.
That's that word, nixtamalize. I always forget it basically means you soak the corn in lye and some traditionally ash, but it makes the corn easier to digest, and it also adds some nutrients to it.
Right.
But that's the first process for the corn. Yeah, so you take the majas harina and you traditionally people use lard, but we're going to use butter. You can also use avocado oil or coconut oil. I know it's a bad word, but Crisco works too. But
Why is that a bad word?
it's not. She hates it.
Hydrogenated fat. Yeah.
Crisco.
I know
like,
she just shakes her
sketchy,
head,
like-
but it has the texture
Right.
of lard, and it really does. It's
So if you're a veggie, Crisco's
yeah, if you're
a nice substitute.
vegan, even
Yeah.
butter you can't use for vegan. So, and the new Crisco doesn't have the trans fats that it used to have back in the day. So it's not as bad
So
as
it's
it
not
used to be.
being used as a car lubricant anymore.
No, I mean maybe.
That's what I ask for a Jiffy Lube every time. I'd like the Crisco, please.
Yeah, I mean I grew up with Crisco, so
I think we all did.
We all did. Yeah.
and that was back when it did have trans fats. But yeah, the new process is much better. I mean, still obviously it has hydrogenated, oil and stuff, but we're using butter, and so you first get the water into the majas harina and get it diluted, hydrated, and then you whip in the butter. And you whip it to the point where you've aerated it and it's gotten light and fluffy, and you test it by dropping it in water. And if it floats to the top, it's ready. If it doesn't float to the top, you got to keep mixing it, and
More liquid, right? If
Yeah.
it doesn't float.
yeah.
This is an unexpected step, I think, for people.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that trick.
Yeah.
Because it's about hydration, and I didn't do it one time. Made a whole huge pan of them, and they tasted delicious, and we cooked them. Like choked on it. It was like some Super Bowl, and we threw them all in the
Oh
garbage.
no.
They were unsalvageable.
Yeah, and that's what people get. They read the recipe and it says, and you kind of have to do it this long, but it depends. It's just like flour. When you hold that little bit of water back because you don't know how hydrated the flour is already, it's the same kind of thing with the masa harina, and you have to test it constantly as you're making it. But that little trick that has saved me several times. Like, is it ready? Nope. Got to keep going.
And it's really the air that you're whipping into. It's the important part, right? That's
Yeah.
what makes it float.
Well,
Yeah.
and the consistency thing, finally somebody said to me, it needs to be like cake batter. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, sticky.
Imagine.
But not, doesn't stick to your hands, but sticky. I know
And
that's
fluffy and
yeah,
soft.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah. And we're going to be using.
Then what's next?
And so then we're going to use corn husks. You can also use banana leaves. Banana leaves are traditionally used along the coastal regions, but you see that used a lot too. We're going to put it in corn husks for ours, and I'm going to show several different ways to wrap the tamales. There's tons of different ways. Every family has their own way, and the little ones I like to tie because they're cute. The dessert ones.
And are these something that you buy that's dried, or can you use the corn husks from your own corn, like Tom was talking about?
I've never actually done that. That's a great idea, but sure, you can do that.
The dried ones? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can buy them dried.
Yeah, and then you have to soak them.
You can also take a strip off the corn husk to use for your tie.
For your tie.
If you're going to use the fresh, what you can do is just cut the stem and then drop the whole corn and everything into some just boiling water and fish it right out, and then they slip right out, and you have these big, beautiful leaves.
It does make all the corn hair a little bit more slimy doing it that way.
And the leaves are a little bit smaller, I would imagine, so you kind of have to lay them out if you want to get a good
you have
wrap.
To put a couple together sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. And you do that too with the dry ones when you start running out of the really nice ones, because you pull those out first and then you're left with a couple of the pieces, and so you have to kind of lay them together. But then they have to steam for a good 45 minutes.
Yeah, it takes forever.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of people don't realize that. 45 minutes to like an hour and 15, depending on how big you make them. They really need that time.
Make extra so you can pull some out and try them.
I was going to say, how do you know if they're ready?
You pull that leaf back, and if that masa is not cooked, it'll still look gooey, and it won't. The leaf will pull away from the masa when it's done.
Great tip.
Yeah.
And so if you want to flavor them, let's say you want a mushroom tamale, a poblano chili tamale, when do you add those flavorings?
Into the masa?
Yeah.
Yeah. You add that after you've mixed it.
Whipped it, right? Yeah.
And then filling-wise, what do you put in the filling?
Anything. I mean, we're making a traditional tamale, but I've seen tamales made with butternut squash and black beans,
So you're doing a chicken chili verde. So you're making a verde sauce and then simmering the chicken in it, and then yum.
Yeah. You have to reduce that sauce down so it doesn't drip out of your tamale?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then you have dipping sauces too, correct? Because you were talking about that's a big part of it.
So we're doing a tomatillo avocado sauce and a red chili sauce from Rick Bayless's book. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a great book.
That's a good one, yeah.
And how did you become the tamale master?
Actually, I don't think I am. I was just telling Bridget, I'm kind of a jack of all trades, but master of none. I know a little bit about a lot of things, and I'm constantly learning. And tamales is one of the things that I used to teach just for fun at the school that I used to work at. Sushi, same thing. I used to teach, how to do sushi at home. So when I came here, I was like, oh, here's some things I can do. And Andy just said, go for it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Tom, I remember that when we first opened, we did a party for Alaska Airlines, all the big high mucky mucks, and they showed up in stiletto heels and fancy outfits. Oh. And Tom's like, oh no, we're making tamales. And we did the chanterelle mushroom tamale. Were those Mark Miller's or your creation?
Well, Mark Miller's technique is what I really loved about his, which was, I would say it was 60% masa harina, 40% fat. I'm not kidding. And they were just, it's like that classic drip down your chin kind of deliciousness.
Yeah, I get it.
It was unbelievable. Is he still alive, Mark Miller?
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing a lot of consulting. He's still down outside of Santa Fe. But yeah, those tamales, it was so funny. There were about 40 execs, and they just, they turned their nose up, but then all of a sudden they were done, and Tom was going around and letting people have a little taste before they went down for dinner, and they were freaking out, kicking off their heels.
Well, that's when they hired me to be their kind of consulting celebrity chef.
Right, for the meals.
You ever hear my favorite story about that?
No.
Dave Ross, who works at Cairo, which is the channel that we're on, invited me to come on to talk about why I took this job. I have a bunch of restaurants, I have books, TV, whatever it was, I had it all, and yet I took this job at Alaska Airlines, and he said, "Why'd you do that?" I said, "Well, if the plane ever crashes, I want to know that my last meal was delicious." And Brad, the president, CEO, blah 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 of Alaska, was on the phone within 3 minutes.
Do not talk about.
Don't ever use the C word and Alaska Airlines again. And so, yeah, that's my funny story. I don't work for them anymore. Once they bought
Right
Virgin,
after that.
after they bought Virgin, they
Oh.
had their own chef team. But yeah, I never used those until today. Never used that combination again.
Tamales.
He didn't think I was very funny.
No,
thought it was
I bet
pretty
he
funny.
didn't.
And Danae, you've got some classes coming up.
Yeah.
Kids baking and
Yeah, so the kids baking class we put out there. I did one.
Oh,
I don't-
no way.
What?
We're doing a kids class?
Yeah.
Bridget's
Oh.
running away.
We're running it during spring break. What is our spring break here in Seattle? It's kind of an experiment. We're hoping, that people come in. It's going to be super fun. We're going to do cake truffles and the Linzer cookies. So the
Fun.
kids are
Oh,
actually going to
fun.
make the truffles and dip them in the coating chocolate.
What's
An
the
Easter
age
brunch.
What's the age on that?
I don't think there is an age. I don't.
Oh.
Somewhere between 3 years old and you.
Because there won't be any knife work or any stove work. So there's no burning
Oh,
or cutting.
man, I can't
or-
wait to see this one.
And then you do an April brunch on the 19th. So the kids' class is the 15th of April.
Yeah.
And then Easter brunch, I make a pretty mean Easter brunch, except I'll be in Europe this year.
Oh, that's so
well,
sad.
I'm so sorry.
Last time I was in Europe during Easter, I was in Florence.
Oh.
They like that holiday.
They love Easter.
They
Yeah.
love that
Florence.
holiday a
Yeah.
lot.
I didn't
there.
know that. Yeah.
All right, come see Danae McLaughlin here at the Hot Stove. Again, the March 29th class is sold out, but I'm sure it'll pop back up again.
Yeah,
We
we're going to
rotate
run
every
that
few months.
seasonally.
Yeah.
Every season will be different tamales.
Perfect.
Awesome.
All right, it's time for Food for Thought Tasty Trivia. When we come back on Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
okay, we have
All right, we're going to wrap things up with this last segment. Can you make it?
we have an audience member. I want to make sure.
Okay.
Don't be afraid.
I am mortified.
What's her name?
We've got Stephen Evangelides.
Hi, Stephen.
Hi.
Do you promise not to kick our ass today?
I don't even think that's possible.
Don't you guys be helping
He's
him.
brave. No, you guys can help.
You can help him. But you want to talk really close to the mic.
Pardon me?
You go
Yeah,
ahead,
right
talk
up here like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Or
even
else we'll
closer.
take a point off if you don't get up close to the mic.
You're Tom. Don't scare him.
That's
Might
done.
lock up.
Have you heard the show before?
Say again?
Have you heard the show before?
No, I have not.
Okay. Well, this
Oh,
will
thanks
be fun.
for your support, Stephen. That's great. Bet you've never been to one of my restaurants either.
That is correct.
Oh, happy dagger. This is thy sheath. How did you pick him?
Well, his friend. You want to tell the story?
Ah, all right, you're forgiven.
Yeah, right. Such a foodie, and I thought this would be perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah, she wrote in a long time
All
ago.
right, Stephen, we'll be nice to you now.
Thank
We
you.
didn't know you were a
Well, it's Becky.
ferner.
Fern.
Okay,
Ready?
you ready? I'm
Yes.
ready.
All right.
Okay, Becky.
Welcome back. It's time for Food for Thought Tasty Trivia, brought to you by Rub with Love Spice Blends. You're listening to us on the Hot Stove Society Show. You can find Rub with Love around the Pacific Northwest and across this fine country at your favorite meat or seafood shops like Double D Meats in Montlake Terrace, Wild Salmon Seafood at Fisherman's Terminal, Earth and Ocean in Marysville, Western Meat Company in Tumwater, or Gemini Fish in Issaquah and Cle Elum.
Wow. All over the place.
5,000 locations across the country. All right, Becky, you've brought an outsider in to try and kick our butts. What's going on here?
I have, but I wanted to mention you're going to be doing a demo next weekend on the Saturday the 29th at Shoreline Town and Country, where you'll be cooking and sampling Rub with Love.
Well, perfect.
Yeah, so I just
What,
wanted to
what time so we can come heckle him?
Look it up. No. I don't know. I just got that from Carol, so thank you. All right, so Stephen from New Jersey, we're excited that you're here, and you've never heard the show, so this will be fun.
It's super sad.
So
Did Jim do the questions?
No, you get them next week. So we're going to ask each of you 5 questions, and we'll start with Bridget, and then the winner will pick out someone in the audience, or unless it's you that wins, and they get to take a stroll in the gift shop and pick up a 3-pack of Spice Blends.
For free.
For free.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so
right.
we'll start with Bridget so you can see how it goes.
Okay, Brigitte.
All right.
Oh, no,
Brigitte.
she doesn't have a beret on today. So.
No. We're starting off with true false. In France, truffle hunting with pigs is still a tradition, but in Italy, using pigs for truffle hunting has been banned since 1895. I'm sorry, 1985.
Small difference there.
Yes, small
Just a
difference.
little.
Is that true or false?
90 years
True.
difference.
It is true.
Because the pigs just tear up the...
The mycelium. Yep.
Yeah.
Good job. Okay, number 2.
Have you ever seen an Italian truffle hunting dog?
No.
Oh, they're beautiful
Yeah,
dogs.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I've gone with one. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a fancy name for it.
Well, you have or you
The
haven't, Becky?
Spinoza.
I
True or
have.
false?
I have. Oh, it's true. It's true. But you can train any dog that just wants to please you. They don't have to be those fancy.
That's what Jackie's been trying to do to me for.
It's working?
Yeah. Not.
No. All right, number 2. Also the name of a tool with a screw point for boring holes. What classic cocktail consists of gin, lime juice, and simple syrup? You look
Gimlet.
a gimlet. Yes, good job.
That's the
I
name
was like,
of a
what's
tool.
the
It's the name of a tool.
It
yes.
is?
Yeah. Who knew?
Okay.
Number 3.
That sounds like a Jim question.
Just wait. In the 2022 movie Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, what popular snack food plays a major role in the alternative universe? Did you see the movie?
I did. I didn't really like the movie.
Oh my God, that was an incredible movie.
Then would you like
It
options?
was
Michelle,
incredible.
I couldn't take my eyes off of Michelle. Yeoh is her last name, is that right? Yeah. Amazing. She won an Oscar for that.
It was a trippy movie for sure.
Do you know the answer to this?
I'm going to say Cheetos,
It was actually
Doritos,
the
Lay's potato chips.
the
Everything
Everything Bagel.
It was Everything Bagel?
It's apparently a central theme in the movie, but Tom was too busy,
Michelle is so beautiful.
Okay, I appreciate that. That's fair.
That's a no.
That'd be a no.
Okay.
Number 4. What is the name of the circular, flat, cast iron skillet used to cook tortillas and meat in Mexico?
Comal.
You got it. Good job.
These are easy questions at the moment, but I shouldn't say that.
Okay. Final question. The traditional confection locum, primarily made of gel, comprising starch and sugar, is better known by what 2-word name referring to its country of origin?
Turkish candy.
Delight.
Turkish
Turkish
Delight.
Delight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. 4
Way to
out
go,
of
Brigitte.
5. Way to go. Okay.
Okay, Stephen, who's never been to one
We
of my
got a
restaurants or ever
smattering-
listened to this show, you're up.
All right, Stephen.
Doomed.
Number 1. What rich, creamy mixture is made from chocolate and cream and used as a filling in frostings and desserts?
Ganache.
Ganache. Good job.
He was laying back, pretending
I
like
started, yeah.
No.
Number 2, produced in the United Kingdom but popular in the United States, what brand that comes in a tin describes itself as curiously strong mints?
Altoid.
Altoids, yes. There you go. Number 3, what is the French term for a bundle of herbs usually tied together with string used to flavor soups and stews?
Bouquet garni.
You are a cook for sure.
goodness.
Okay.
I thought that was a little jar of little brown sauce.
Number 4 is multiple choice. In the 2021 movie Pig, Nicolas Cage's character is a former chef who lives in the Oregon wilderness. What drives the plot? He loses his restaurant in a fire, his truffle hunting pig is stolen, or he raises pigs to make salami. Did you see the movie?
I didn't see the movie.
Nor have I.
Nor have I.
Oh.
I remember
I
the movie
saw it.
That'll Do Pig. That was like a. What was the name of that pig movie?
Babe.
That was
Oh,
called
there you
Babe. Yeah.
So would you like the options again?
Thanks, babe.
I'll go with one. The first one.
No, his truffle hunting pig is stolen. That's so out of character. I haven't seen the movie. Now I'm curious. Okay, for a tie with Bridget, Number
Last
5.
movie he did, I thought that was good, was Moonstruck.
Oh, that was a long
That was a
time ago.
long
Yeah.
time
It was a
ago.
long time ago.
Cher just eyed me the whole movie.
Yeah. Have you cooked for her before?
I haven't. I've seen her in concert, though.
Yeah. I have not. Okay, final question. True or false? Baby artichokes are different species from globe artichokes and are harvested from a separate plant.
False.
50-50 chance.
It's actually false. Baby artichokes are the smaller buds harvested from the same plant as globe artichokes, typically growing lower on the stalk. Good job. You are in a tie with Bridget.
Wow. Very impressive.
So we're either going to have a 3-way tie or a win over here.
Turns out
All right,
you're better
Tom.
off not watching the show or listening to it.
Number 1, which classic Disney movie features a romantic scene involving spaghetti and meatballs?
Lady and the Tramp.
Yes, you got it. Good movie
That's
question.
his era.
Well, I think he knows all the movies.
That was a shot right there.
If you're at an Italian market and see a fish or vegetable labeled Nostrano, it might cost more. What does Nostrano mean?
It means that it has gold teeth.
Do you want to try another answer?
No.
Do you want options?
Sure.
Okay, options are imported from another country, grown or caught locally, the highest quality grade available.
Sure, the last one.
Nope, it's
No,
grown or
2.
caught locally.
Yeah.
Did you know that,
Which is
Bridget?
the highest
Nostrano
grade
is-
available.
Not always.
Nostro is our.
That's why
Nostrano,
you didn't get the
ours.
question.
Why would it be more expensive?
Well, it not necessarily. It's not the highest. Oh, no, it's grown or caught locally.
Yeah, but what was the question?
If you see something labeled Nostrano, it might cost more. But what does... I like to throw you off a little bit. All right. Number 3, Tom. What is the primary ingredient that gives she crab soup its distinctive flavor and color?
The roe.
Yes, you got
of
it.
the crab.
Have you ever made she crab soup?
I haven't, because since I've been alive, you can't keep the females.
Right, and it's a blue crab. It's and Dungeness just rules.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. Number 4, multiple choice. What is the significant challenge in the commercial harvesting of Oregon truffles? A, overharvesting leading to scarcity. B, difficulty in distinguishing ripe from unripe truffles. Or C, competition from European truffles. And one more option, all of the above.
I'll go with all of the above because I know nothing about Oregon truffles. Because the ones that I've had just haven't done it for me.
Yeah, so it is B. It's difficult distinguishing ripe from unripe. And there was just a big article in the New York Times this last weekend. So that's why I was a little truffle.
Oh, I saw that.
Truffle talk. Okay, number 5. About 70% of the world's macadamia nuts are grown in Hawaii due to its rich volcanic soil. But the macadamia tree is actually native to which country in the southern hemisphere?
Not a clue, but you said 70% of the world's
Of the
macadamia
world's.
nuts? I would have a hard time believing that.
I read it on the internet.
I would
Because
think
when you
it's
look at-
California.
no, I would think it's in the area around the Nutella factory in Italy.
That's hazelnuts.
Oh, you said
This is macadamia
oh,
nuts.
macadamia nuts. Okay.
You've been there before.
In the southern hemisphere? And I've been there before. Hong Kong.
Australia.
Australia.
Okay,
It was on the way.
It was on the way. I tried to get you to tie, but we're going to have a tie between
right.
Stephen and Bridget.
Let's see who.
All you have to do is slap
yell
down.
out the
You just-
answer.
Yeah, yell
You
out the
just
answer.
yell out the
Yell
answer.
out the answer.
Yell out the answer. Okay.
What is the name of the Vietnamese sandwich made with a French
On
baguette?
me.
But you're not playing.
Oh,
Stephen, you win.
Thank you.
That's
you're
nice.
welcome. All the
you.
bad things I said about you weren't true.
You don't know that.
If you want to be part of the show like Steven, you can join the community on YouTube Live at Tom Douglas & Co. or just buy a ticket and join us here in the studio. You had a good time today? Yeah. And they're full. The show is produced by Becky Guzak. Our technical wizard today is Nico Caballero. And our talented editor at Cairo is Sean. Please don't call me Del Torre. If you miss any episode of our Hot Stove Society show, what do? You listen via podcast. Just subscribe with your favorite app.
Thanks for listening and happy spring.
Yeah, finally.
She was reading it.
Okay, quiet on the set, Danae. Today on the Hi, I'm Chef Tom Douglas.
And I'm Bridget Charters.
Today on the Hot Stove Society radio show, we're cooking with induction burners. Belinda Kelly and Venice Cunningham are here to share their new book, Drinks from Your Garden. And father-daughter duo Jim and Jennifer Maurer join us to share a classic shepherd's pie recipe that's not so classic.
Good job.
All right.
Okay, nice.
Thank you all.
That's a wrap. Thank you. Nice job.
By the way, I have an induction cook-off.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Had one for like 9 years now.
9 is a lot.
Well, I didn't have gas to my house, so I've always had electric, and I hated the normal. So I tried an induction.
What brand do you have?
GE. Yeah.
They were kind of the first to the market. The KitchenAid ones now are like, they're like a whiz. I mean,
Great. It's just a flat surface. It's got, you press the button like you said, and you just.
it's got the dial. Yeah.
But actually, this one is new enough. I mean, it's Bluetooth controlled, which who cares, right? But you can get a Bluetooth thermostat and do sous vide. You put it on top. Put the pot of water on top, and you put the thermostat
Thanks, Jennifer.
and it talks back and forth to the oven, to the cook burner, to keep the temperature just right. And I've not done it, but it makes it very easy.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, it's the technology in the past 5 years. It's like,
And the other great part about it is if I'm cooking a lot in the summer, it doesn't heat up the kitchen. I can have all the burners running, and it's great.
excited about it because
Yeah.
you don't need such a
No, you're not taking heat out anymore. You just have to take